77 years ago this month, 750,000 Palestinians were terrorized, raped, and brutalized out of their homes and farms and villages in the Galilee, from Tiberias, Bet Shean, Safed, and the great Palestinian ports of Jaffa and Acre. They were driven out with napalm and machine guns and machetes, and forced to flee from their olive trees onto the barren sand dunes of Gaza, where they remain. At the end of 1948, less than 15% of Palestinians remained where they had always lived. 85% had been ethnically cleansed, despite the promises of Lord Balfour that, quote, "nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine." The Nakba happened because the politicians of this country enabled it. They enabled it with the Balfour Declaration, and they enabled it with 30 years of British colonial rule in Palestine, during which the indigenous inhabitants were disarmed and their leaders arrested and sent to prison camps outside the country. This country has a historic responsibility, more than virtually any other, to see the establishment of a Palestinian state and to provide some protection for the Palestinian people who have suffered what they did because our grandparents' generations regarded the Palestinians as somehow expendable and unimportant. You might have thought that this shameful history would galvanize our government to atone for past mistakes and make good for past failures. Far from it. For our leaders do not know the history of the sufferings of the Palestinians because their story is not taught in our schools. The BBC is too frightened to tell their stories in documentaries or news bulletins. The British people are not taught the dark history of our responsibility for this mess. Instead, we as a country still provide diplomatic cover for Netanyahu's extremist administration, which has made its intentions entirely clear. Smotrich, Netanyahu's finance minister, said last week on television, Gaza will be entirely destroyed and its population will leave in great numbers to third countries. Yet this government has done nothing. It is complicit